Okay, let me enable the audio. There is one person from I don't remember where this flag is. I think it's England, I would say. I always confuse that flag, their flags. United Kingdom, right. I'm not used to see the flags from there, but so I always confuse that. Pros BR que estão aí, eu vou fazer a live em inglês, mas se vocês quiserem fazer perguntas em português ou não entenderem o que eu falar, vocês podem fazer pergunta. I was just talking in Portuguese that for all Portuguese speaking people here, they can ask the questions in Portuguese or ask anything in Portuguese. I can translate if they don't understand something. But the content will be mainly English. If I am able to do that. Hasn't been a long time since I spoken English. 12 Brazilians. I think there is more because geolocation says that's 14 people, but Twitch says that's 35 people. So, no idea. Let me put my phone to be able to switch scenes. I already did my spams. That time I even spammed LinkedIn. Scenes. Let's switch for camera only for now. Hello everyone, welcome to my live stream. That's the first live stream I will be doing in English. Probably all of them. That's the first try. I hope I speak right, because it has been a long time since I spoke in English. Here we don't saw the chat members. I think it's not. You should be able to see the chat members. Nate, River, and Al, thanks for the following. Bubbles, valeu pelo follow. Okay, now we have a Canadian one. I think I know who is it. In part to hack a set, you need to know octal. Octal, you mean the numbers? Not actually. You don't actually need, but satellite encodings usually are very tight packly. So when you send, for example, bytes over the network, you usually like this value will never reach more than 120. And then you say, okay, but the computer works better if you put 32 bits for that, so you put 32 bits to represent only the 120 that you get. That's very common in computing, but in satellite communications, you probably will want only to transfer the only needed bits for representing 120. So you don't need to know octals, but you need to know how to do works with bits, because it's very common to find like a variable that has like 3 bits or 4 bits. Gondon Nyeri, I can't speak that in English. Gondon Nyeri, thanks for the sub with 2 months with Prime. Thank you. So satellite communications, usually you want to reduce the number of bits you are transferring. So you need less bandwidth to transfer, you need less signal power to transfer, and things like that. So Half you Sky, thank you for the follow. Okay, there's a new flag here. Serbia. Okay. That's far. So, okay. Hi Eduardo. How are you, man? My first live stream in English. Let's see how that will go. Why are you upset? Aê, Mario Belucci. Piracicaba. That shit you're nerd Twitter, man. Ah, that happens, man. That shit happens. I can tell that. Actually, that was the first time I had to mute Twitter thread, and that's sort of impressive. But I don't care, to be honest. Can't let that make me upset. So today I have one monster. Most of them seems to be bots, but if you want someone to talk, feel free to send me in. Thank you, man. Yeah, it looks like bots because the messages are bot-like. No idea why. I to be honest, I have no idea how that started. I just was like preparing my live stream, and then I switch it to Twitter and has like 100 notifications that say what the fuck is happening here. So, anyways, let me check if everything's right. Then I can switch to my laptop. I think I didn't forget anything. So for all English, thank you, man. You'll have a good stream as well. So, I did some like workarounds to get the GUI signal here, and the cable from the antenna is coming to my window. That was the easiest way to get it working here. Melo Morte, thanks for the following. Also, sorry if I usually speaks the names of you in Portuguese, because I'm not used to make live streams in English, so that's a bit hard for me. So the cable is there. Chess X, thanks for the sub with Prime. Let me get the cable here. So here is the cable that comes from the antenna. I have several SDRs here that I can use for receiving GUIs. I will use Lime SDR. Because Lime SDR is a nice open source, open hardware SDR. And also it looks cool. Here. This is my Lime SDR. It looks really cool. But basically any SDR you can do that. An SDR that can reach about 1.7 gigahertz, when probably a bit more than 1 megahertz of instant bandwidth, like a RTR SDR. This works as well. I suggest the RTR SDR blog version because they are more resilient for more than 1 gigahertz, but they do. Even the Chinese ones works well. I know some people managed to make it work with the Chinese ones, and some people did not. So I think it's like most cheap Chinese stuff that you buy and you hope that you are lucky one to get a good hardware, because the cheap stuff doesn't have any quality control. So you can either get a very high quality stuff, and you can get like a shitty stuff. Welcome all. Hi Makaksat. How are you doing, man? Also forgive my accent, because my accent is, as I said, it has been a very, very long time since I've spoken in English. So I'm a bit rusted about that. So you can see there's a panel here. It's my LED panel. You can put in the chat exclamation point source. You can get the source code for the panel and the bot that's running here. You can also, if you're not a sub, you can also, with 2000 Hue points, the channel points, you can select the Hue panel rewards and put a message there. Or if you are subscribed, you can just use exclamation painel, which is in English, like Rodrigo Caldeira Lima put, and you can put a message there. I think Rodrigo, I think it didn't work it. Okay. I think it's broken for more than 2 months subs. I need to fix that. Let me check the chat message here. Okay, the bot crashed. I changed the bot yesterday, and it crashed. Just a second, people. Let me fix the bot. I will change to my laptop so you can see me fixing it. I really need to fix it. Let me change the windows here. It crashed because of the new features. Let's open GoLand here. Hack Saturn bot repair code, exactly. It was, let me check, interface conversion, interfaces Twitch, that channel subscribe message, not channel, okay. That Twitch led.go, 161. Okay, that's true. Twitch data. Okay. I did something really wrong here. It was supposed to be that, but it was other stuff. Where did that come from? Monitor. I think something went wrong here. Subscribe event data. What the fuck? Hot IQ, thanks for following. Thanks for the follow. What the fuck? What's wrong here? Make subscribe event. That seems right. And that seems right as well. What the fuck is happening here, man? DJ151, thanks for the follow. Hi Beto, how are you, man? Hello, Hot Ike from Finland. That's also very far. Wouldn't have done if it was done with Dino. Yeah, I have 10 years experience in Dino. So I'm launching a course that you can take like a Dino, and you will instantly, after you finish the course, you will instantly get like 200,000 a month, because that's how it happens with Dino. In Elm there would not be an error. Yeah, that's true. In Elm this problem wouldn't happen. Let me see what's happening. That shouldn't happen. Ah, that's what's wrong. I was casting the wrong stuff. So the get data returns data, which is the channel subscribe data, but that's not what it expected. So this is probably wrong as well. This is wrong as well. And also, I think this is wrong as well. For a coincidence, this is not wrong, but I did it wrong, so that should fix it. Let's build for Windows because the bot is running on Windows. Now let me switch screens. Okay. I hope it doesn't crash anymore. Not Elm. Elm is actually cool. Haskell plus Rust is best thing ever for who hates JavaScript. I'm not sure. SG 1921, thanks for the follow. Okay, let's see if the bot is live again. I'm copying here. Okay. The Hue begins. I'm not sure. Okay, live on. It's working now. We will see if it will crash when someone gives a sub or bits. If someone have 1 bit, just send. I know Elm, it's Injustice framework, but it's for who likes it. Yeah, it's like any functional language, right? It's people that are used to imperative language usually have a bad time with functional languages, but they have a lot of advantages. Okay, I forgot what I was going to do here. Okay. I was going to open again the window that shows where everyone is. Yeah, now it's working. I have the bot. Now the window of the bot is on my right side. So if it crashes again, I can see it. So I think most people expect today to be from ground to working. I will just show. I will show some stuff about GUI satellite. The GUI satellite what we will hack is the GUI 16. Some people want to correct me on Twitter when I say hack it because there is some people associate the hack word with hacking into unauthorized features of computers, networks, or things like that. But hack can also mean other things like repurposing some stuff, or, for example, for example, I can receive GUI 16 at home with nothing related to the expected hardware to receive it. That's a hacky way to do that. So the hack here is not about not authorized, since the GUI 16 it's free and open for everyone. Anyone can receive that. That's basically anywhere in the world you can receive that. You can even download the data from NOAA website. But the official hardware needed to receive the GUI 16 is very expensive. Would you mind explain again what you're doing? Okay. I will do like a overview how to receive GUI 16 at home. I will not show the hardware because the hardware is outside, and I will have a tutorial about that. I will show more about the software, how it works, how it has been done to receive. I can even show the pieces of the code, and we will start optimizing some stuff. That's it works well, but I can optimize it more. Calling 911. People are used to Hollywood hacking. That's right. That's why the community also uses hack and crack. That's right. I mean, even the cracker word can have different meanings. Basically, cracking is literally cracking stuff, like it's breaking stuff. But that doesn't mean that's something illegal or something like that. Some people prefer to use the hack to a positive way and crack to a negative way. I usually don't like that separation because sometimes cracking is a better word to describe what you are doing. But I mean, feel free to think what you want from the word. It's I mean, I'm doing nothing illegal here. NOAA even knows that I'm doing that because when they launched the satellite, like in 2016, I was on one of the first persons that did the software to decode them. So I sent an email to them and said, okay, I saw your specification and was a bit, something looks a bit wrong. I'm receiving like this way, but you specify that was this way. It's that expected or anything? And then they answered me. They was giving me a lot of specifications, updates. They even was asking help me to test like the downlink and send reports for them. So that's nothing illegal here, and everyone can do that. Hello, Paulo. How are you? Let me just open Twitch TV here to have the chat on my screen. Okay, this will be on another. I hope my computer doesn't break, because my laptop will be very stressed today because I have the OBS running here. So it's already using a lot of... I think it's better to close Discord because Discord is also using a lot. It's already using a lot of CPU because of OBS. And when I open the software to demodulate, it will use more CPU. And then I have Google Chrome here, which uses more CPU. So I trust you, Lucas. I know you're not doing anything illegal. I mean, apart from teaching us new thing, what is in your current state democracy almost... Yeah. Isabella likes to say that I need to straighten my posture. Yeah, my problem is not RAM memory, my problem is CPU and overheating, because you can see over here that I'm using Turbo Boost from my laptop, because this is an Avel one. For everyone that's outside Brazil, Avel is a national brand that uses Clevo as a base. So it's a high-end laptop. So they can handle loads like that. For example, this CPU is like 2.7 GHz nominal. So you can see it's 2.7 GHz nominal. But they have turbo boost, like all Intel processors, AMD processors. But since the cooling system of the Clevo designs are very well designed, they can run on turbo boost for almost indefinitely. So it's running 3.6 GHz here, but that also means it's also hot. Now it's 60 degrees, it's not that much, but the bridge is 70 degrees Celsius. Felipe Dagos, eu falo em português às vezes. Se você tiver alguma dúvida, pode perguntar. You forgot to send a letter on Discord. I saw on Twitter. I think the Streamlabs was sent anyways. Do you have any book tips for telecoms? Yes, I have one. Let me remember the name. I have the book somewhere. It helped me when it's a very expensive book, but you can find used on Amazon for very cheap. What's the name of the book? Oh my god, I forgot. Let me check my Amazon wallet. Just a second. It's a very nice book. I found it in Google because I was searching for a specific encoding that I was not being able to implement. And I found the book. The ebook costs about $600, I think. But you can find use it on Amazon for like $30, so it's much better. Why you're not logging in my Amazon account? Okay, that's not my password. Maybe that's one is. Okay, I don't remember my Amazon password. I don't know how good is that. Na minha época o computador tinha aquele botão para ligar e desligar tudo. Yeah. There has been a long time since the computer had the turbo button. Okay, I managed to log in. Let me see my... Your orders. I don't remember when I bought, but I think it's 2017. No, it's not. 2016. Okay, yeah, that's the book. So you can see that's very expensive. But okay, there is not okay. Oh, just to tell that I'm not lying, I paid like $40 for that. Here, $10 I paid for that book. It was 36 with the shipping. No, Diego, that's not 300 reais. That's $300. I have read about octal numbers on signal cable TV. That's why I asked. Yeah, octal numbers are really... It's not that hard. But it's used on Linux for permission system. But yeah, it's pretty common in some communication systems. 300, it's like 100,000 reais today. I think it's more like 1,000,000 reais today. But that book's really good. It basically it says about it's not only about satellite, okay? They say satellite communication systems design, but for getting in context for satellite designs, they even show how the DSN, DSL, and all the other network systems work, like how the telephony system works and things like that. So they have a lot of context. They even have like orbital communications and orbital navigation and everything. So it's really good book, but okay, it's not very easy to buy now. Nice, thanks. I studied telecom engineering in São Paulo, and the good books are very expensive. Yeah, you can see that this is really expensive. We have viewers from Italia, Serbia, Romania, and Ukraine. Yeah, be welcome, everyone. So this book is really good, but it's really expensive. I'm not sure I even allow it to import that to Brazil, to be honest, because most of the places I put here to buy, it says that it cannot ship to Brazil. And United States has something called ITAR, which it's International Trading Arms something regulations, I think, which forbids people from buying stuff from the United States that can be used for military usage. And this have everything you need to know about satellites and even design your own missiles or everything. So I'm not sure I'm supposed to get that, but I managed to get for $10. You can see here. Okay, it was used. I said a $300 book for $11, that can be missing half of the pages. That would be a profit, you know? Yeah, it's 1993, but it's got revised. It got edited afterwards. I think the last edit is it's 2000 something. Okay, I forgot about Telegram. There is a PDF in Z Live. I'm not sure. I mean, the book is really good. It shows, I mean, if you want to learn about satellites, this have everything from telecommunications to orbital maneuver and things like that. Sadly, now for us in Brazil, that's really, really, really expensive. Luckily, I don't know if everyone that's watching from Brazil knows, books doesn't have any taxes over it, so you can safely ask on Amazon. It will not get any taxes. All books, all literature is tax-free in Brazil, so it's basically just that amount converted to reais. That's a bit better, still very, 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 very expensive. Na Amazon Brazil. Okay, in Brazilian Amazon looks like cheaper. Not much cheaper, but like 100 reais, which is good. I just think that's for ebook, it's too damn expensive. You know, for like 300 reais difference, I would get the hardcover because, man, it's a physical book. Digital books are supposed to be much cheaper, you know? Até se te mandei uma DM lá no Twitter, dá uma olhada depois. Okay. I will take a look. So this book is perfect. I love this book, especially because of the price I paid. So, but I would keep looking here because sometime maybe it appears a new one like cheap. You can get used. I don't think the used here are much cheaper. $298 to $300. I would get the new one. You know, I don't think that $4 make any difference even for us in Brazil. But this book is really good. I found this book because I think there is some pieces in Google. Where is it? Here. Okay, 181. This is in euros, but this is also an ebook. Let's get the free preview. I think it's just the first two pages. I think Google has more because where is Google Books? This. Thanks, Lux. I also found it. It's a really good book. Okay, here. I think it's that was. No, it's not this one. Google Schooler. Let me see if I can find, because Google has some stuff because that's how I found the book. I think if I put like the name of the Chiho here, I think there's one. Yeah, this one. So let me. It has some parts here. Let me get the summary. So here they even say about how the speech signals work, how you compress signal, voice signals, how you regenerate, how you transmit video signals. Well, they have everything here. You know, they even have what user calls the signal to attenuate or not work or anything. Then how the signals are processed. What are you trying, Johnny Knights? and they have everything. And then here, orbits and controlled trajectories, so you know how the orbits of satellite works and everything. It's a really complete book. It has everything. Everything you ever want from a book about satellites, that's the book. You know? A live de hoje vai pro YouTube depois? Sim, vai. So this book's perfect. I mean, I was really lucky to find to $10 because it's really good. So just in a reference, the guys that were working on the book, I think it's Sebastiano Tiró and another guy, I don't remember the name. Where is it? There is not the name. It has names of several people here. Most of them worked in Intelsat, that was the first telecommunication satellite, commercial telecommunication satellite. So it was it's from really good guys. Can I use HackerF to transmit UHF or VHF? Yes, you can. You can use for everything. The guys found the PDF for the file. Yes, you can use HackerF can transmit like 1 kilohertz to 6 gigahertz. I even have a HackerF here. So here it is. That's on my HackerF. If someone already saw that mine is a bit different. That's a metal case. I bought a kit to improve the HackerF performance. The new version of the book is updated with the flat Earth orbit. Yeah, we all know that Earth is flat, so everything I'm saying here it's a lie. So GUI 16, it's from NOAA. It's a weather satellite. There is a picture of it somewhere. Where is it? I think it's better if I get the code name. Let's go S. Oh, no, it's go R. Here. The satellite's huge. Okay. It's really huge. Okay, the image is horrible. And it's made by Lockheed Martin. It's a very cutting edge technology. It's very huge. It was launched by a huge rocket, and it's a geostationary orbit. What means it's a geostationary orbit? That means that the satellite is always pointing in the same position in the sky. But the image is not huge yet. Here's a tip to improve your bot. When you make an English live stream English, your bot might translate English too. I'm not sure I understood. Translate what people are saying in Portuguese, you mean? So since GUIS is a geostationary, what it looks always like this. Doesn't matter which time you get, the image will always be facing to this point on the Earth. And also, if you go outside and look to the sky, the GUIS will be a fixed point in the sky. Of course, you usually can't see GUIS on the sky because it doesn't emit light or anything. It doesn't reflect light as well, so it's very, very hard to see. If you have a nice camera with a nice telescope, you might be able to take a picture of it. Like a dot, like a star or things like that, but usually you cannot see. So geostationary orbit is about 45,000 kilometers above. I can't convert that with my mind for miles, but since 1 kilometer is 1.6 miles, it's about 30,000 miles, I think. That's a lot. That's very far. That's 1/10 of the distance from Earth to Moon. And that height is very specific because if the satellite is there, it means it will turn around the Earth one time per 24 hours. So it basically takes 1 day to get around Earth. So since Earth also takes 1 day to rotate itself, it always points to the same direction. 35,786. Yeah, that's usually the start of the geostationary orbit. I think GOES it's a bit higher than that because of the mass. Because that depends on the mass of the satellite. No, it's 35,000. Okay, you're right. So it's 22,000 miles. So because of that, it's easy because if you get like your satellite dish and you point to the satellite, you just need to point once, and then it will ever be in the same position, so you never need to move your dish or anything unless they decide to change the position of the satellite. Sidark, ESCDT, Condor, Itatech, Felipe Darius 123, thanks for the follow. Arvaroka, thanks for the follow. So sometimes they decide to change. Like, for example, when they launched the satellite was in a temporary position because there were the GUIs 13 in the place. So they put like close to GUIs 13, but was not in the same position. And then they changed it afterwards. One thing about geostationary satellites, to be true geostationary satellites, they need to be aligned with the equator line. So all geostationary satellites are aligned with the equator line. That's because if they are outside the equator line, they will start drifting up and down, or to north and south of the planet. It's very hard to visualize that, but I don't have an animation here, but for orbital mechanics it makes a lot of sense because of how Earth moves around. Your Nightbot asks, okay, I changed some of the words in Nightbot. I think not all of them. Here. Yeah, I think that was the only one. I forgot to disable it. That was the only one in Portuguese. The other ones are in English. Okay, Miles, bad system, but well, I mean, it used to be a really bad system because it was not standardized. It's like inches, feet, and everything. Like a long time ago, this was not standardized, and that was the really big issue. Nowadays, I don't think it's a very huge issue. If your entire project is either with metric or imperial, don't mix that. Don't mix metric with imperial, then you will have really big problems. But if you do one or other, it's not a very big issue. Oh, good allocation to put hard devs logo. Yes. Imagine make an Earth panoramic image. There are some of that. Some people do that. You cannot do that with GUIs. But it's funny because sometimes the moon appears and gives image. 7 satellites and only 2. No, there is more satellites. They usually overlap. You need about 4 or 5 satellites to. So United States has always 2 satellites, GUIS East and West. This is the GUIS 16, that's the one I receive here, and this is the GUIS 17, which I cannot receive, I think. I'm not sure, I think not, because this is the line of sight, the satellite, and I'm basically here. These 2 satellites is for getting coverage of all US lands. So they only have that because they have Hawaii and other lands here in the middle of the ocean, because and Alaska, okay? But it's funny because the satellite is from the United States, but Brazil is really, really happy because the satellite is just over it, and the image, it's not distorted a lot like it's in the United States. So it's really, really amazing for Brazil to have like GUI satellite working for us. Since it's free, we just use it. That satellite is really amazing. Also, GUI 16 has another thing, that's the SUVI, that takes images from our sun. Of course, that only does that in the day because it's a geostationary. The image is not very huge as well. I think I can open in Wikimedia and here. So it has 6 channels of the sun. I never received them because they are in another downlink, which requires a bigger dish and also a different hardware. I will do in the future. I still don't have the required assembly to receive that. I thought that was the image range. No. The image range is basically everything. Because the viewport of the satellite is bigger than Earth. So the satellite can see more than that. We are only limited because of the circumference of the Earth. That's the only limitation. Okay. So let me turn on here. I need some hardware here. So the antenna has an amplifier there. Let me see if I can get a picture of the antenna because not everyone saw it. Where I can get that? Let me check here. Okay. I have one picture here. So this is the satellite dish, and this is the cable. It was a bit bigger than I expected, which is bad for satellites because the bigger the cable is, the bigger the losses is. This is running at 1.7 gigahertz, so the cable losses are very huge. And this is RJ58 cable, and the losses are pretty huge for that. So the satellite dish has an amplifier down here. So I need to power. I power it through the cable. For that, I can use this board. Let's see. This is a BST board. It basically injects like whatever voltage I want into the line together with the signal. I use 95% mesh. I think this one is 95% as well. This is a high quality RJ58. It was very expensive, to be honest. I think it's 95-98%. It's a very expensive, it's not very flexible because of the mesh. But still, the losses are usually because of the center conductor, so this cable is very thin. CCS 3033, thanks for the follow. Bald Unofficial, Carlos Delfino BR, Valdir Jr., thanks for the follow. I was a BST with RTR SDR V3. Yeah, the BST from RTR SDR V3 works well. This amplifier sucks more power than the BST can work and put. But I have an amplifier here. Let me show it. Where's the amplifier? It was here. Is this one? No, it's not this one. Friazes, thanks for the follow on this one. That's a Soulbird. For anyone that wants to receive GUIs, I suggest to get one of this. Even if you are in Brazil, it's not very cheap for Brazilian people, but that makes all the other setup very cheap. Because this one has 2 amplifiers and a filter inside. And to be honest, it's very hard to get it working without a filter. Your bot announces now. Oh my god. Like 1 hour after? Yeah, almost an hour. My god. Juninho Ox 111, thanks for the follow. Jim Santos, salve. So, I will put the link here if anyone wants. I mean, even if you can assemble a filter yourself, if you want like no headaches for getting it to work, I'd suggest getting one of this. The RTL SDR BST can power it. It's very on the edge of the max current it can handle, but you only need one of that and then you are good to go. I will need to use one of that because as I said earlier, the cable is very huge and I have very huge losses. The signal gets here but very weak, so I use this amplifier to get another boost before, so I don't need to use my SDR internal amplifier for that. Looks good. I shared the link for the PDF here. Should it? I found it. Some people already share it. Technically, no one should share piracy here, but they already did. Jim Santos, nem esquenta, cara. Deixa pra lá. And I will use one of that. So one BST. I will need 2 USB cables, which might be a problem for me. So the setup is pretty simple. This is the cable. Let me switch the scenes here. Okay, where is it? Camera only. This is the cable. It comes from the dish. So here I have two sides. Okay, let's wait the camera to focus. So you can see one side has RF and the other side has DC plus RF. So basically what it does, it gets the energy from here and injects the energy here. You can see this piece here. Let's see if I can handle this piece here. That's a capacitor, so it blocks the voltage from coming back to the SDR. So here we will put the SDR and here it goes through the antenna. Uncle Bill will get you for privacy. Yeah, piracy, yeah, exactly. Be careful about that. Piracy is something that you can get arrested in Brazil as well. There's not many things that you can get arrested in Brazil, but piracy is one of them. I usually prefer to pay this stuff because I'm not sure how much the authors of the book earn about that. It's probably not the full price, which is sad, but their book's really good, so I usually prefer to pay this stuff. So here it is, and then before that I will put the amplifier. So here, let me talk about this one. This is the Nuelec Soulbird Goice. It has a USB port and also a jack here. That I can power either of one of them. Capacitor, not a diode. No, it's a capacitor. Diode only blocks the current from one direction, and also it changes the signal. Capacitor doesn't technically change the signal, and it blocks all the direct current there. So I can either put like a USB cable here, or I can put 5 volts here. I think this handles almost 12. No, here it says 5.5. So 3 to 5.5. So BST works. It can receive the voltage from the LTR SDR. Since I am using a Lime SDR doesn't have BST, so I will need to power it. But basically it's the same thing. I think this one can you will not be able to read, but has the same thing. Like one side is RF and other side is RF plus DC. Let me check. It's also always confusing because you usually think input as the SDR input, but actually that's output because the input is the antenna. So it's always confusing. Let me check. I don't remember how I powered that. Just a second. I don't remember the direction. I said it was confusing. Yeah, I think it's on the right side is antenna. Okay, we have our... Usually in English we say that's the pipes, because to be really honest, radio frequencies usually act like liquids. But so you can also say that this is a pipe because there's a wave going through. E aí, Renzo Felipe, beleza, cara? Abraço. So we usually say plumbing. It's RF plumbing here. And let's see our Lime SDR. I hope my laptop doesn't freeze about that. I also haven't tested with Lime SDR recently. I think instead that I will use a cable, because that's very rigid and it's very easy to break stuff. So the Lime SDR has several inputs. So you can see here. Let's see if the camera can focus. Okay. So this is the Lime SDR USB. So it has 4 transmission ports and 6 receiving ports. Actually, it can only transmit and receive in 2 channels per time. So you can transmit in 2 channels and you can receive in 2 channels. So if you see, they are grouped together. Each of the connectors in the group can be only used one. So in the TX channels, you can either use the L or the H channel. You need to choose in software. And in the RX channel, you can either use one of these 3. So what's the difference is basically the L is for low frequencies. I think it's below 900 megahertz. And H is for higher than that. In the RX channels, there are 3 different. There is the wideband, which can receive anything inside the full bandwidth of the Lime SDR. There is the L, that's the same 900 megahertz, I think. And there is the H, that's higher than 900 megahertz. So for receiving that, we will probably want to use the H channel. Because since we are in 1.7 gigahertz, I'm pretty sure that 1.7 gigahertz is on the H channel. Let me see. Okay, this is here. I need to find a way to power that. Hey, Ricon Hacking, how are you, man? E aí, Jim, beleza? I have several cables here. I will do something that's sort of workaround. You see this? This is an FTDI 232. What I will use? I will use that as a USB 5 volts powering. I will power everything from my laptop. Doing well, thanks for asking. Which is the best SDR? That's the polemic question. I will be completely honest. That depends if you want to transmit or receive. For the receiving part, as I don't like to admit because I hate them, the AirSpy is the best RX SDR. I don't like the guys that do the AirSpy, so I usually don't recommend that. But I can't do. There is a fact they do the best receiving only SDRs in the planet. There is no question about that. In the second place for receiving, I think Lime SDR is, but Lime SDR, some people didn't have any luck, much luck with that, because it depends a lot of factors. It's a cheaper SDR. It's not a cheaper, but there's a lot of parameters that you can configure. You need to calibrate. It's a more how can I say that? You can do more stuff with Lime SDR, and because of that, it's sometimes you don't get much luck to get it working as you want. And then you have like the RTR SDR and the HackRF. For receiving, they are pretty much the same. The HackRF can receive more instantaneous bandwidth. It can receive up to 20 megahertz, and the RTR SDR can receive up to 3.2 megahertz. In the higher end, you have like the USRP, which is probably the best SDR ever. But the USRP usually costs like a few $1,000s, so I usually don't consider that because it's goddamn expensive. What about the download? Okay, I forgot about that. I forgot completely about the down Pluto. Pluto is also a nice SDR for beginners. It's not very expensive. It can also transmit, and it's probably the same performance as Lime SDR and sometimes better. That depends on your usage. Okay. But there is other SDRs. There is also Blade RF. That's also really good. The Blade RF has, I think, the same hardware as the USRP, the B2100, which is the cheapest USRP. And there are some other SDRs with mod can transmit up to 10 gigahertz. Yes, exactly. It's really good. A down Pluto also you can run Linux inside it because it has an FPGA with an ARM processor. So let me check here my cables. Okay, it's not that one. I think you didn't. Yes, you can send it. Sorry. I saw here. Hello, I'm studying Java. Do you know what I can do with this language, or if it is best for freelancing? No, your English is alright, I think. Well, Java it's not a bad language. Usually people do bad stuff in Java. That's different. Java has its limitations for some type of usage, but I will give an example. The GRB receiving of GUI 16 is done in Java by NASA, and it's very impressive the performance they can get from Java in that aspect. It took me heavy work to get near close the performance they got in Java. So Java is a good language for that. Java also has it's a very mature language, so it has a lot of procedures and techniques and everything, and a lot of stuff that helps you learn about software development. So I think it's a good language to learn. The market in Brazil, it's huge. It's still huge. In Brazil, I think the two biggest markets for programming languages Java and C#. But I mean, I would learn other languages as well, because the best companies to work for will probably not program in Java or C#. Okay. Usually companies that work with Java and C# are old-fashioned companies, which usually it's not a very good environment to work with. That's actually a generalization, There is good companies that works with Java. It's just that be careful, okay? So that's why I said learn other languages as well, because usually the coolest companies to work for has different languages. Running Doom and down Pluto. Yes, you can run Doom everywhere. Yep, that's true. Look how many years it is around. And if you want Java on Android, look for Kotlin too. Yeah, exactly. Kotlin is a nice language. And I mean, Java is still there because there is a reason because it's still there. It's because it does the job. So, and it's sometimes it does the job really good. Of course, it uses a lot of RAM memory, but sometimes you need faster processing and you can afford having more memory. And that's almost true everywhere, okay? So usually you can expand more memory because memory is cheaper than CPU. So it's better to have more memory than more CPU. I think Java is one of the most used languages in the bank systems. Yeah. Seu inglês tá ótimo, Lucas. Cara, valeu. Yes, I think Java and C#, okay? Since I work J2J with banks and things like that, I usually get the API errors, internal API errors there, and then you can spot which language they use. And I think I would say it's about 50-50 C# and Java, but that depends a lot. I mean, it can be the public that I integrate it with, but yeah, Java and C# are the most two. In the Brazilian banks, it's the most two higher languages. Elixir is growing well in fintechs. Yes, Elixir is also for a good for financial. If you are looking for C# jobs, check out .NET Core and Blazor. Run away from. Yeah, exactly. That's a good thing. Run away on .NET frameworks and WinForms. .NET framework, .NET Core is better. .NET framework is good, but very specific to Windows, and that's an issue. I'm playing with Java, building some Minecraft mods, but I'm considering about working as a backend. Yeah, I already play it with with Minecraft mods, and if you get very used to making Minecraft mods, you probably will be happy to work in a Java as a backend. I will be completely honest. It's much better than Minecraft mods. Do you recommend Kotlin? I think Kotlin is like Java's. Yeah, Kotlin runs on JVM. So, I mean, if you can do something in Kotlin, you can always create a .java file, implement in Java, and it will work together. So that's the main advantage. It's like Clojure or Scala or things like that. If you can do something in that language, you always have a fallback to Java. So that's the good thing about Kotlin and other languages. What language I need to work in cool companies? Well, Elixir, Reason. Ali won't like, which I will say, but JavaScript, TypeScript, Golang. This is more recent languages. Clojure is also. I hate Clojure, to be really honest. I really hate. But yeah, Nubank here uses about everything in Clojure. What they don't have in Clojure, it's Go. So that's it. But the basic, I think Nubank has all Clojure developers from Brazilian market. They already hired everyone. Because if you see someone in Brazil that programs in Clojure, they probably will work at Nubank. F# is nice. Yeah, F# is also a nice. F# is one of the languages I like from CLR. Why do you hate Clojure? I hate the syntax. Not only Clojure. Any language that has a similar syntax. Yesterday I prepared a lot of cables to not have this issue today, but I can't find the cables. I don't know what happened. I think this is the cables. The Pine frozen or not? Oh, it's working. No, it's working. Okay. Dart is a good. Dart is also a good one. Dart is used on Flutter, I think, right? For mobile. Okay, where is my screwdriver? Never heard of Clojure. Clojure is a very famous language. It runs on JVM as well. I mean, it's a very good language. I just hate the syntax. That's my issue with it. But it's a really great language. Lucas, você tem canal no YouTube? Tenho sim, cara. Tasks Lab. It seems dumb to question about how companies that owns its programming languages make funny. They usually you don't. They make like programming languages are usually assist tools. For example, Google created Go because of an internal problem they had with Python and C++. Because they had a lot of stuff in Python. When they want performance, they need to switch to C++. But C++ is much harder than Go than Python. So not everyone could program in C++ and make everything right. So what they did a language that's right between them, that's Golang, which has a Python-like syntax, but performs like C++. And that's it. They solved the problem, so they don't need to earn money directly from Golang. They can earn money because they solved the problem. They got an easier language that makes their employees more productive. So usually the languages are all because of that. You know, but it's like Microsoft. The .NET is open source, and it's Microsoft. You know, they usually charge for everything, but it's much better to them to have an open source that everyone that can use, then can fix bugs, can improve that, and they benefit on that too because a lot of stuff from Microsoft is made in .NET. So that's usually how they earn money. It's not directly, you know. Clojure, it's Lisp. Yes, exactly. I don't like Lisp. They created from themselves and share. Yeah, exactly. That's usually the case for about everything, you know. For example, React, it's from Facebook. They created to solve an internal problem for making new front ends, and then they just release it because it's better if everyone uses, because it's easier to hire someone that knows how to work with that technology. It gets like revised by a lot of people on the internet. It gets improved and then benefit from that. Pronto, agora falta pro milésimo inscrito. Ah, o inscrito do YouTube. Okay, let me turn on this. This is ground. VCC. My god. Someone will kill me because of that. That's what I am doing. Just to have 5 volts to power everything. I just love technologies and communities like we have some great people to what, like you, thanks. But it's a kind of frustrating to learn how to code. I will be completely honest about being hard to code. It's hard to start to code. After you learn some basic stuff, which if you ask me how I learned, I will say I don't know. And if you ask everyone, they will say I don't know. But after you get some basics, it's pretty straightforward. I would say that what I observe is that learning a new programming language is like learning a new language to speak. After you learn like the third language, the fourth, any language you learned before, it's got easier and easier. And you learn a lot. In learning different languages aggregates too much for you. I mean, even if you don't use like F# or any functional programming in your daily basis, knowing how to program in functional language helps you even on imperative languages, and vice versa. You know, knowing how to program in imperative languages also helps you to program in functional languages. So it's just a matter of time. You just don't want to give up. Just keep trying. Sometime you will find a way to learn what you learn, and then you will say, "How did I didn't know that before?" Because it's usually like that, you know. I will study some shit school stuff for now. Thanks for answering. No worries. It's not boring. So I'm pretty sure some people in the live stream also has these questions, and it's okay. You know, there is no boring or stupid question. To be really honest, I usually get a bit pissed when some people ask like the same question like 10 times in my live stream, but I usually get really patient about that. You can start with Python in programming language. Yeah, Python is a nice language to start. A Lucas é de boa, quando conheci ele perguntei umas coisas elementares. Yeah, I don't have anything to... I mean, everyone's learning, right? I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I started without knowing anything. For example, I usually like to use that as an example. That's I made the Golang works on Nintendo Switch. And everyone says, oh my god, that's really hard and stuff. It was a bit hard, but when I started, I decided to do in a live stream. And I was completely honest for everyone that was there. I said, I have no clue what I'm doing here. I have no idea. Because I really didn't. I didn't even know how to start it. I just had a goal in mind. I want to run Golang and Nintendo Switch. So I said, let's see what I can do. So I started looking the source code of the compilers and everything. Eventually it went out. Now I have a pull request, like I'm revising the pull request for about 2 weeks, 3 weeks. But it's just polishing in the code to get better integrated with the compiler. But I got it working, so everyone's learning something, and I mean, it's just a matter to have a clear goal and not give up in the middle, because it's very hard sometimes. Sometimes you take a lot of time to reach a goal. I have lucky to reach my goal in like 3 live streams, because it was a bit easier than I thought initially. But some stuff I did, like the GUI satellite, the first time to demodulate and get an image from the satellite, it took my 4 months to get that. Even to get the hardware working, and my time didn't. This thing, like the Soulbird, didn't exist, so I had to do everything, and it was very hard to do that in that time, especially in Brazil, because you can't find RF stuff here, and it was really hard to get my first signal from GUIs, because it's hard to find the stuff here in Brazil. I had to do everything. I have like a very very narrow knowledge about that, RF electronics and things like that, but eventually I managed to get that. And because I managed to get that eventually, I managed to make the Open Satellite project, with have the Sat Helper application and things like that. And that gets so popular that even NuLX starts making a specific hardware to solve the problems I had. So if I didn't persisted to get the Sat Helper app working, this Soulbird guys probably wouldn't exist. So just have a clear goal and keep doing. I mean, it's okay to like give up for a day or for a week, because sometimes you can't stand this problem anymore. Just don't give up forever. I mean, you said I'm not being able to do that now. I spent like 4 days without no progress. It's okay. Take a break, like a week. Go do some other project. Take 2 weeks if you need, 1 month. And then sometime just get back to the project and take a look. Because in my experience, you probably will find very quickly after that. I mean, you can suffer burnout from your own projects as well. not only from the company projects. I love you, man. Thanks, Eduardo. I have a question. We will coding something today? Yes, yes. Let me just put the radio to work. I will show you some code from SAT Helper app, which is the software that decodes that. Let me put everything to work here, and then I start reading the chat again. Because I will take forever. I usually start reading the chat and start talking, and I forget everything. I have a huge problem. I don't have enough USB ports, but I will use my computer USB ports to power, because I need one USB port for my SDR. I just worried that the SDR is also something that gets really hot. Vitão 1GG, thanks for the follow. Afonso Artila, thanks for the follow. Hi, bro. Boa tarde, Vitão. Okay. Holt and Johnny, thanks for the follow. Okay, so I have all the plumbing here. I will turn everything on. And let's hope it works. Okay, I turned just the Lime SDR. Let's hope my laptop doesn't die. Lime SDR. I have to erase some stuff from here. I think I only need this 2, 5. I can be less. I can put here 2 megahertz bandwidth. Okay. Let me switch the windows. No, it's not that. It's this one. Okay, this is the center frequency for the GUIs. I will choose LNH hard. So this is an issue of Lime SDR. Let me remove the audio because there's no sense to hear anything here. I think I put it wrong. I think I turned something wrong. Just a second. Okay. Signal is on. So, okay, looks how beautiful is that. My ears. Yeah, it's very loud still. So this is the GUI 16 signal. This is the signal you want to receive. Let me show a bit more of GUIs. I will put 10 megahertz. I think it's better. No, it's 10 megahertz. 10. Okay. So this is the yeah, that's complicated for me. A rich signal. That's the signal we want to receive. This is the telemetry of the satellite. Okay. Here, it's hard to see, but this is slope here. That's some thick boy, exactly. And this is the, you can see this is slope here. This is actually another signal. This is the GRB. And there's this signal. This is a relay. It's actually a lot of signals here. This is also from the satellite. GUIS is a weather satellite in general, so it has a linear transponder that basically does. This is basically what happens. There is several weather stations spread all over the country. That means not only United States, but that means Mexico, Brazil, and all other countries in America. They are spread. And you usually want, it's pretty simple, usually weather stations. It's like get humidity, temperature, and everything in specific spots. And they need to send data back to their central. So what they do is, since sometimes they are very, very far away from the city, for example, here in Brazil there are some of them that's in the middle of the Amazon forest that doesn't have anything there. Not even energy. They need to put like a pole that has like 25-30 meters up just to get a solar panel. And what they do is they have an antenna pointed to the GUI 16, but they transmit at 400 megahertz. So 400 is UHF. What the satellite does, it receives UHF and then resends here in 1068 megahertz. So this is, each of these signals is one station. You can see they don't transmit all the time. They have like bursts of sending. So it's not because something disappeared and appeared here in the same place, that's the same station. It can be another station. Okay, they have some slots to transmit and everything. So this is the linear transponder. What a linear transponder is, it's basically gets everything it receives and relays back in another frequency. So basically what happens is that if you point an antenna to GUI satellite and you know which frequency it represents, that you can transmit it through relays here. Sometimes some unintentional transmissions happens here. I remember when GUI 16 was under testing, we started to hear some cab radio, taxi cab radios coming from here, because usually cab radios are UHF, and we was getting a very faint signal of the UHF. It was totally not intentional because the satellite is very sensitive, and especially if there is nothing transmitting here. It works like a repeater, exactly like a repeater. So a linear transponder is a repeater that doesn't discriminate the signal that's coming. It just gets the portion of a spectrum and transmits for another spectrum. Doesn't matter what's coming there. What's the main? Eu não entendi a palavra main. I don't think I understood the main. The name? GUI 16. Ou GUI 16. So, some people did software to decode that. There is also one advantage. NOAA does the decoding of these satellites, these signals as well. So if you get the signal I will be decoding here, That's this one. This one also sends the data that that signals. Here. It's also NOAA also decodes the signals. This is called data collection systems. Okay, so they decode that and then resend the data through a TRIT, which is the signal we were gonna decode here. The telemetry is also decodable, but we never figure out what's the content. If someone wants to try, the protocol is pretty straightforward, but the content is just a chunk of bytes, and we don't have anything to make sense of the data, you know. Yes, DCS. DCS is also sent here. So this signal has about 1 megahertz of bandwidth. And it's one fun thing to show here is this. Just a second, let me adjust this. Okay. If I reduce the averaging, if you take a look at the waterfall here, just a second, you can see that there's two signals, different signals here. You can see that here there are some lines, and here there is not. That's a meaning. There has a meaning for that. The satellite is here; it's transmitting data, and in the other place it's idle. So they are just transmitting junk data. So one characteristic of the GUI satellite. Thiago Jack, thanks for the follow. One of the characteristics of the GUI satellite, it's a continuous transmission. So it will always keep transmitting regardless of it having data or not. Okay, so when it doesn't have data, it just transmits like few frames that doesn't have anything inside it. There is a way to play with satellites without a bunch of specific hardware. Well, you can get a recording. There is some on my website. I think I need to update that because they are a bit old. I usually put to average a bit this so we can see that signal better. The signal is 60 dB, okay, 6 dB. It's pretty good to decode. And let's see if I can manage to make the Sat Helper app work with that. It has been a long time since I did this app to work. That's the config. I will explain in just a second. Align me, LNH8, okay. I think it's okay. This is stuff that I did for the coding. Let's see how it goes. Okay, there's some error. What was the issue? Device Lime SDR. Oh my god. What have I done? I think I have one version that supports that. What the fuck looks like an elevator in skies? Exactly, something like that. Oh, what the fuck? Why it's not supported? Okay, let's see. Let's build it. So why it builds? The project source code, it's here. If anyone here has GitHub, please leave a star. It does everything to the code. There is some instructions here. I think I thought I built with a static library. I'm not sure why. Eu fui cochilar à tarde agora. Relaxa, mano. Okay, there's a lot of errors. Okay. The version I have the LTR SDR is not the same. The libRspy as well. This libRspy is very old. Okay. So I will need to build by hand. Sadly. I will follow my instructions. I think the Travis build does that. The make actually should do that, but libRspy, yeah, it's for the AirSpy devices. It's the devices I don't like it. The Lime SDR is okay. I need to build that. Let me open another tab here. So the thing about liblr SDR is that this version here is the version I maintain with some people. This one has some features that the main branch doesn't have, like enable the BST and stuff like that. So that's usually an issue. I could also disable it because I will only use Lime SDR here, but I usually like to build that. Build. I will just follow the instructions there. Make not J10 because I will destroy my CPU doing that. Okay. I think I have this one installed. Now that I'm thinking of. Okay, no I didn't. Now the AirSpy needs to be one because it was compiled with not fpy, and this kernel version requires that. I just don't know why. Why a library needs to be pi? Ah, okay, it's because a static library. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, I don't need that for now, but okay. Let's see if that fixes. Okay. I don't think it's using the libRspy that I did here. I will do something that you shouldn't do. Make install path. I will put to install here. This one I want. You shouldn't do that. Okay, that's really bad. What do you think of DoD-1 satellite AK Goose treating? Is he going? I don't think so. I think they are just keeping the GUIS 13 for like if they need something, or the satellite's actually good. They are just like end of life, you know, and they work. The GUIS 13 worked for like I think 4 or 5 years more than it should. Well, that's weird. Maybe they are not putting -fpi. I mean, it's a bit possible that's not working, but pictures above Indian Ocean. I don't know. Maybe that would be cool. But I'm not sure what they are doing now. I think the satellite is just shut it off. I don't think they are using it. It's probably just with the navigation controls online to keep the orbit. Your problem is GeoSatellite, which we don't have with Open Transition. Yeah. Yeah, that's the funny thing I discovered about that, because usually Europe is more open to the public stuff and things like that, but their satellites are all of them you need to pay to use it. It's very weird. And United States has them free for all. It's really weird. But yeah, it's really bad actually. Here, say flags, F5. Let's see here if that fixes. I'm not sure that will fix. I don't think it fixes. Message 4 and 3. Message 3 is still working, because I can pick the message tree here, but they told me they stopped it through working. The message tree was shut down. Oh my god, how I put a flag here. Hi, Livestream. Good? I will start putting FPy everywhere. I can also remove the Lib AirSpy. Is something using that? Let's remove Lib AirSpy 0. What's you? Okay, I can't remove that. If I remove it, it will remove everything. I can also try to remove this build folder and put again. Eduardo Marinho, thanks for the follow. Okay, at least it worked. It says I need to build with fpic, which also makes sense. I'm not sure why it's not being done like that. But okay. Especially because I downloaded the last version. That should be done for all exec troubles. Okay, that didn't work. Why? Why that didn't work? Maybe that fpic didn't propagate. Why did I put the other one? Okay. I will probably remove the AirSpy if that doesn't work. Let's see. Okay, that did work. Let's see if now works here. That probably breaks my build. I need to check that. Okay, what I gonna do? Where is my goal end? Here was the bot that was broken. Let me open the Sat Helper app. I will just do like this in just a second. Here, AirSpy frontend. That's called AirSpy device, which is a wrapper. I can just remove that. It will give a lot of errors. I think my laptop just froze a bit. What's using a lot of CPU? Ah, it's the indexing. Okay, it's GoLand that freezes, frozen, not my laptop. Poor laptop. Today is the day you'll suffer. So, okay, and this as well. I will not commit that, so it will still work with our spy. Don't worry about that. Well, now I don't need make anymore. I can build directly here. Wait. I just thought something. I think I was stupid. Because it says it didn't support Lime SDR, it's because it's not Lime SDR. I think it's Lime DRV. Oh my god, I'm stupid. Oh my god, I'm stupid. I think it's just Lime. It has been so long that I used that I think it's just Lime. Yeah, it's that. Yeah, okay. Okay, it's working. So this is the Set Helper app. I was just stupid. I didn't need to compile anything. So the signal is pretty good. Let me explain what's happening here. So locked means I lock it in the satellite signal. So I have a nice lock. Here it says I received a piece of file. Here I can say DCS. I will show later the files that I'm receiving. Here's the signal quality. So it's closer to 100%. The signal quality is given by the errors. So there's two metrics of errors here. The Viterbi error, which is the first layer of error correction. And there is the Reed-Solomon error, that's the second layer. The first layer, it's optimized to fix sporadic errors in the string. So, for example, you get like a bit noise that changes a bit from 0 to 1 in some places or anything like that. Viterbi is pretty good in fixing random bits being flipped in the payload. So each frame of GUI 16, that's the CCSDS frame, has 8,192 bits. RBR Marforge, thanks for the following. So this is how much bits has been corrected, okay? So it basically what it does, it gets the 8 kilobits of data from the frame, runs the Viterbi algorithm over that, then it encodes back to the original data and compares where it fixes the bits. So this is the number of bits it has been fixed. Usually if you get like higher than 400 here, you don't have a good signal. Okay, you probably would have a lock or you have some other problems. Here there is a Reed-Solomon error. So Reed-Solomon is the second level. The second level of Reed-Solomon, for those who don't know, is the same error correction algorithm that is on QR codes, there is on CD, DVDs, and everything. It's a pretty widespread error correction. And this, it's basically like that. There is 4 Reed-Solomon channels. Each one has 255 bytes, in which these 255 bytes, 32 are parity bytes. And for these 32 parity bytes, it can fix 4 bytes anywhere in the string, anywhere in the 255 bytes. It can fix any bytes. So this is optimized when you have like some signal interfering periodically. For example, usually when you have like some signal interfering with you, you have a sequence of bad bytes there. Reed-Solomon fixes errors very good for that. So if you have like several bits followed each one another, Viterbi is not good to fix that, but Reed-Solomon is. So it combines these two error correcting algorithms to get a better output. My Viterbi is 100. 100 is good, it's pretty good. Most of the people get like 100. it's also worth noticing that depends on time of the day. For example, there is one thing that it's called sun voltage, which is when the sun aligns with GUI 16, you probably will get a much higher Viterbi here, because the solar radiation will reach your antenna in the same angle that the GUI 16 is sending the signal. So it sum ups the sun radiation in the noise channel. So the Viterbi gets higher because it's an interference. This doesn't happen every day. It's periodically. I don't know if it's a week or monthly, but it's pretty noticeable because, for example, here I have like 10 to 20. In a sun voltage, these problems will get higher to 200 or something like that. Also, when it's raining, it's usually lower because there is less radiation. When it's night as well, the Viterbi is lower. When the hardware itself is cooler, that's also lower because there's less noise. And let's open the folder where I don't remember where it's saving. I think it's here. Okay. So there's two folders here. One is out. So this is DCS. This is the data from that signals. I can parse that later. Here's MWIM. This is a report for emergency system. So if I open here, there is a weather report here. To be honest, I don't know how to interpret this, but this is pretty important because there's a lot of people that use Sat Helper app just to receive that. So it's basically NOAA is receiving the signal from the satellite, doing weather analysis, and then sending data back to the satellite. Basically, these documents. This is the human written, and sending back so everyone can see. Sometimes come images here. I think there is no image. There's some images here. So this is image pre-processed. So you can see this is Zulu time, so 9. So it was not very far ago, 20 minutes later. Here's another one. These are both from GUI 16. Band 13. So they have a lot of stuff. This is Hawaii, I think, or no? What's that? No, that's island. I'm not sure which islands that. There is the name here, but I'm very bad on the Pacific island names. But this is weather radar. They send data over everyone. And there is the main products here. Here it processed some images. So this is one image we just received. Something wrong happened here. I'm not sure why. Okay, some stuff is happening here. I'm not sure why. Not sure why. Something's broken. Yeah, I think it was the frame got shifted here. It can be either a problem in my application, receiving, or even NOAA. P-Drone, thanks for the follow. Let me keep running this. Sometimes the... Terra não é plana? Como assim? And it will keep receiving files here, and let's see how it goes here. There is all the other products here. It will get here eventually. So here it's channel packets. So GUIs has a layer, a virtual channel system. Each channel receives a different product, so it's multiplexed inside these channels. So here is number of packets per channel. So channel 2, channel 8, channel 9, channel 14, channel 20, channel 21, 22, 32. Your images are different from mine. Really? The image came corrupted or came nice there? They came corrupted. So that, wow, that makes sense. Sometimes this image it's not come like this here. It usually comes in pieces and the software assembles that, but the base image is processed by Noah, so sometimes it gets messed up. Ah, here is another one. Here, this one is fine. So this image is about 1 kilometer per pixel. So the 100% of this image is this. This is 100% of the image. So we can see South America here. Here is the temperature scale. This is the band 14. So I did some overlay, so this gets some specific clouds. So this is in Kelvin. So if you are in Brazil, you just subtract like 273 degrees from that, and you get Celsius. For getting the temperature in Fahrenheit, you need to do some math because it's a bit different to do that. But then for Celsius, it's pretty easy. Just subtract 273. So here it's 100 degrees Celsius. Here it's minus 100. So it's from minus 100 Celsius to plus 100 Celsius. And most of the clouds here are in the freezing point of water. When Viterbi is going to be fully replaced by turbo codes, I'm not sure. I think Viterbi works pretty well for most of the systems. Turbo codes is I think it's more computing intensive. I'm not sure, to be honest. I never played with turbo codes. My setup doesn't receive the scale. Yeah, this is not come from the satellite. This is my software that generates that. So if you run sat help app, you will receive that. But this is my software that does that. Let's see if something, not something else. So this is something, there is no caption, so I have no clue what's that. But okay. For a weatherman, they probably have a very good meaning. The DCS has a lot of files. Gio Garcia. Yeah, that's the conversion. There is a new image here. Just receive it. Ah, man. I need to check what's that, but if Marcio said it's coming there like that, so probably it's Nova side. My signal is pretty good, so it's probably not an issue with the signal. Signal issues can lead to that issues. So okay, how that works. Our image that you show, it's image from side. Yes, just receive it actually. You see here, that's the Zulu time. So we are in Brazil, which is Zulu last 3. So you can see it has been like 10 minutes since this image was took from the satellite. So this is the basic latency that we have here. Okay, it's not. It's like 30 minutes or so. When they have a hurricane or something like that, like a weather emergency, the latency gets lowered, so they get more images coming. So for now, the issues are not very big. So because of that, they send like 30 to 30 minutes. Also, this images is pretty huge, so you can see. This image is huge, so the satellite takes some time to take it. And when there is a hurricane or something like that, they just select the portion of the hurricane they want. Yes, but sometimes I mean the link downlink I am using it works like that. Let's see if I have an image about that. I want to destroy my computer. I'm using Chrome. Let's see if I have an image for that. Okay, I think that image is good. Okay, so what happens is the satellite has a main downlink that's like a gigahertz link, which sends all the raw data to the NOAA stations. The NOAA stations process it, ingest, makes everything, okay? It gets the raw data, calibrates, fixes, do a lot of processing over it, and sends back to the satellite. Then the satellite sends this back to Earth, which is the downlink I receive. So the data I receive has some metadata. For example, if I open there are some JSON files here. Here, this metadata that they send, this is the station that puts there. Okay, so I received a pre-processed image, not the raw image from the satellite. So sometimes their software makes some mistakes. So, for example, if I'm not the only one that's receiving like this, probably it's their software that made a mistake. You are 5 hours behind me. Yeah. So sometimes this happens. It's not uncommon, but they usually are monitoring that to fix. Just imagine they have 2 stations or 3 stations. I don't remember. That they need to... They receive and process simultaneously in 3 stations, so if any of the stations gets down, they can switch to a new one. Because, man, stations gets down, energy failures or anything, so they have several stations to not disrupt the data that's transmitting. So that's it. That's because sometimes why they send back data to satellite and not using public resource to get. You can get the data on their website as well, but some places, for example, if you are in Hawaii, that image. Let me get on one image here. That image has about 15 megabytes. It's pretty huge, you know. Sometimes you are in a place that you cannot afford to download a 15 megabytes image every 30 minutes or something like that. So what they do, they send back to the satellite because you can have this hardware receiving for you and just putting the stuff in a folder, you know. So that's why they send back, because basically when they send back, anyone in the transmission area, which is this blue area here. Not the ocean, okay? This highlighted area. Anyone in this area can receive it directly, so they don't need internet for that. So that's why they send back. But they also share in their website, so you can go to the NOAA website and download the same images there. Can you decode the channel with the sun? I can decode. I did the software to decode that, but I cannot receive it. Both have. GUI 16 and 17 has the solar channel. The issue is that it's on GRB. So let me see. GUI's GRB. I think I have some image lost somewhere, which shows the fully spectrum. There's a lot of images, mine images here. It's funny. GUI's spectrum. Okay, that's not what I expected. That's one of them. Let me see in my image, or it's not sun. I want to show the signal, or the full spectrum of the signal. Just a second. Let's see if it made your words. once in a while I took a picture of the hole. Ah, here. Found it. Okay. Be careful. Yeah, be careful with Google Images. So this is the whole spectrum. It's a HackerF that I'm using. I can use the LimeSDR as well. So this is the H-Earth signal. That's the one we are decoding. This is the telemetry. This is the DCS, and this is the GRB. You can see the GRB is huge compared to the other signals. It's about 10 megahertz wide. It sends a lot of data. It sends more data. For example, I have here our pictures have 5,462 by 59,066 pixels wide. The images in a GRB, it's 4 times larger because this is 1 kilometer per pixel resolution. The GRB in my images are 250 meters per pixel. So each pixel in an image from GRB has 250 by 250 meter pixels. It sends a lot of data, But why not RGB? They didn't want the additional FPS that the RGB could get. So the issue here is as larger the signal is in bandwidth, harder it is to receive. You need a bigger antenna to receive. And this signal has a special thing that this is not one signal. There's 2 signals here. And they are encoded using, I can say, a physical property of the wave. One of the channels are sent in a right-hand circular polarization, and the other channel is sent in the left-hand circular polarization. So it's very hard to receive because you need a specific antenna to receive each of the channels, and each of the channels has different data. And the sun data comes here. So I'm still not able to receive it, but I managed to get some recording from some people and make the software to decode that, and some people are using even nowadays. So I have some images, but I don't have a real-time feed about that. Convolution? No, not only convolution. They have, it's the GRB. It's a standard transmission. It's a DVB-S2. So DVB-S2 is the standard satellite communications. I have a DVB-S2 board in my computer that was donated by one guy from the Open Satellite Project community, so I can adapt it to work with GRB. I still haven't finished it because it's very hard to test without a real signal, you know. But the SUVI images are here, not in AirDirects. So I need specifically to decode that to get the SUVI images. When you are receiving this data from the satellite, how many bytes are you receiving per hour? This downlink it's 20 megabits per second. This one it's 980 bits per second, so it's about 100 kilobytes per second. Delayed Swagger, thanks for the follow. This is about 100 kilobytes per second, so it's not very much data, but that's compressed and stuff like that, you know. So depends on the data. It's a lot of data. Snake 12, thanks for the follow. Then what you can expect for the X-band? X-band, it's like I think it's 120 megahertz. The downlink it's a half gigabit, so if I'm not mistaken. The X-band link it's insane to receive. It's a raw data, all the raw data from the satellite. What's the rest? It's the same as the GRB. But the GRB, the data comes compressed, so it uses less bandwidth. And the X-band, they don't compress it. But the resolution is the same. The GRB has I mean, if anyone wants the whole package of products from the GUI satellite, the GRB has everything. Basically, everything you can get from the satellites here. The X-band, it's not worth the time because you probably will need like 10-meter dish to receive. There's no specifications at all of the X-band signal, so you don't know what you're receiving, and there's a lot of issues. So it's better to get the GRB. That GRB has a very low latency. I think it's like a 1 minute latency from the capture, 1 or 2 minutes, and they send everything. Let me get here GRB products. That's not what I meant. Here. This is the documentation. Let's see if that's the documentation I want. There's a lot of stuff. Here's a GRB specification, okay? So it's the DVB-S2 with CCSDS. Here's the physical layer of the DVB-S2, that's standard. I think there is some place here that shows each channel which product is this. HD Lima, thanks for the follow. Where is it? GRB payload. Okay, this is interesting. This is the schedule. So this is how the modes that satellite works. This is how it takes pictures. Okay. So basically, this is the where the satellite's pointing at. The satellite sensor is pointing at. So this is obviously the Earth, the full disk, and there's some other stuff that they do. But that's not what I want. I think they don't have here. There is a document that shows for each channel which is the products. Here is the 16 channels and resolution. So it's not 250 meters, it's half kilometer. It's 500 meters. I think it's not that one. Where is it? Trenton Xavier, thanks for the follow. There is one somewhere that shows which channel what it does transmit. Oh my god, where is that? This? Where is that? I don't know. My god, man. Why is it so hard to find this info? Maybe here. Products guide. Vamos lá. Let's go. Here. Here. So this is the two channels, LHCP, RHCP. This is left-hand circular polarization, right-hand circular polarization. So both of them transmits on the same frequency. You can choose to receive only one, which is easier to make a receiving antenna. I want to receive both because there is data in both. And you can see here the SUVI, that's the sun images. Porque eles divulgam relatórios bem completos, será que isso não abre uma... Well, yes, they can open. They can open failures and things like that, but it's hard to exploit a satellite. You need to transmit to the satellite. So, for example, here you are only receiving. Maybe you find a flaw in the satellite system, but what you can do, you cannot transmit back. So, basically, you can't do much, you know? I think it was the same file that I opened earlier. I just didn't saw this. So that's it. The most funny thing it's here to receive. There is the lightning detection, so you can detect lightning. It's called detecta raio. The SUVI, which is the sun images. There is solar flux. There is energetic heavy ions. There's a lot of stuff, fun, nice stuff to receive, but that's hard to receive. Eu acho que isso devia ser governamental. It is from the government, but doesn't make much difference. Even if it's top secret, someone will find it. They always find. That's the point. You can't do security by obscurity. You know? So, no, there should be a lot of files, more files here. One more broken file. Ah, here, no, more images. So, I'm not sure these JPEGs, what are them? Don't ask me. GUI 17, so this is another satellite, this is the 17. They send the infrared image of the GUI 17, so you can see United States here. South America is here, it's almost not seeable here. And here is the Pacific Ocean. The image is also less big, it's a half resolution. Let me see, mesoscale is a smaller image. It's a cut, so you can see there is a... I received, guys, 17, channel 13. I think that's the one I received, right? Yeah, it's the 13th channel. Let's see which... So mesoscale is a cut, and that's this NHC. Gitsol, thanks for the follow. This is the weather charts. So they also send that from the satellite. I think there's not much data anymore to receive. There's a lot of this. Here I can interpret this river fluid outlook. So this is the chart for saying if it's possible to flood a river. There are some points here. I don't know where they state because I don't know where every state of the United States are, but my channel, my image 13 doesn't have color. Yeah, they don't have naturally. Let me change it here, the configuration, just a second. I will keep the original files here. The color images is this software that generates. So basically it does here. Just a second. I think the files are still here, right? Okay, so here are all segments. Let me get this one. So I will create a folder here, test, and put everything here. I have some other projects here. Temp, no, it's out, test. That's not what I wanted. Snap, such helper. Okay, I don't know why that's happening, but okay. Let's get this folder. Each image. Okay, I'm not sure it generated the correct file, but okay. Oh no, okay, it generates the segments. So this is the segments of the image, you see? This is how I receive the stuff. So I receive several segments of the same image, but that's not what I wanted. It's this application here. This is a program from the package of SetHelper app. Okay, got all segments, is processing. It will take some time. Okay. Okay, this is the original image. You see? But I can say yeah, F image. The image is dead. I can say, for example, I want to reproject to linear. Wait a second, I need to erase this image. And if I said reproject to linear, you will all believe in me now, because we will have a flat earth image, which is the right one. Just a second. That takes some time. It's very heavy. But then I have a flat image. And I can also say, okay, I want to... Here, for example, I want to enhance. I want linear. I want to enhance. I want to draw a map. I think that's it. That will take some time. Now it's drawing the maps, which takes some time as well. Okay. So this is the generated image, which now have colors and have a map. So you can see the border of Brazil here, or the border of the United States. So this is generated by the software. Ah, okay. Sorry. No, now it's safe. So I just said to this program, which it's part of SetHelper, to make a linear reprojection, to enhance, which does that color enhancement, and to draw the map. So I can do basically anything. So the original image is black and white. That's right. But the image has some metadata. It has the temperature. So if I go to this file, here is the temperature LUT, which is... This has 256 elements. Okay? So what you can do, this is the temperature in Kelvin. So for example, you get some pixel in the image. The pixel value it's black and white, so it goes to 0. It's 8 bits, so it goes from 0 to 255. What you have is, okay, so the value of this pixel is 3. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna go to that list, go to the third element, which is this, and then you know the temperature. So it's 338 degrees Kelvin. That's what I use for do this enhancement thing. Okay, I use that info. This is sent by NOAA, so I can convert to temperature. So I can even put here minus metadata, but I need to erase the image. Okay. And now I have the bars here showing the temperature and the name. So this is all the software that generates. So I think now it should keep the old files here. I'm just curious because I didn't receive any visible channels. Here. Okay, this is the red channel. The red is the color red, so this is visible. So you can see it's getting night here. In Brazil, it's already night. And this image usually has a better resolution because it's visible. Let me put 100% here. So you can see there is a bad thing happen here. But it's already dark here. There's a lot of files here now. Sometime we generate a false color. Sometime it will generate. We need to wait. Sim, Marcelo, vai ficar no YouTube. Vai ficar no meu canal do YouTube que ele acabou, o Nightbot acabou de falar. Okay, let me show a bit of the code. I don't think we were gonna code today, but I can show how it works. Because there is already been 2 hours and 34 minutes. So there is several stuff here. There is the image processor, which does that magic, getting the black and white image and transforming colors. There is the DSP, which does the decoding of the satellite signal. So the DSP uses another library I did, it's the libsat helper. Some stuff is made in Golang, some other stuff doesn't. For example, this one is C++, but let me see here. This is Golang. That's from the SIAG DSP project. The filters as well. So it's mixed code. I plan to migrate everything to Golang, but something is wrong with my Golang DSP code, which makes not work very well. I'm not sure why. I think it's not commented, but I have all of these blocks here, like the Costas loop, the clock recovery, and everything. I have in Golang, so but they don't work exactly the same as C++, and I still don't know why. So here I have the front ends, so I can use a SPI server, I can use a RTR SDR, which also works, a Lime SDR, which I am using, a C file, which is a recording, so you can run this software with a recording of the satellite, and there was the AirSpy, which I deleted, I need to add it later again. here is the X-rate data. The X-rate is X because it can be for H-rate and L-rate, which is two different protocols, but they share the same protocol inside. The modulation is different, but the protocol is the same, is the CCSDS, and the products are the same as well. Let's see what I have here. I have some nice stuff here. Well, in the folder CMD, it's a bit worse to see. There is the programs that the SAT Help apps provides. So the SAT Help app is this application that's running here that does everything. But also you have like the Tmux replay, which is for debugging. So the SAT Helper app can output like the whole bytes from the satellite, so you can play again later to test bugs and things like that. You have the multi-segment dump, which is the software I showed later, which gets the data from the satellite, which is this. Oh my god, how? Okay, this LRIT files gets and converts to whatever you want. That's the RPC client. This is a client to get the statistics, console lines and everything, so you can remote access this application. There is XRIT cat, which basically parses the XRIT file and dumps whatever is inside it. Doesn't matter which content of the file, it will just dump. So if you get like a new file, sometimes NOAA does that, like sending a new type of file that the software doesn't recognize, you can just get the output and see what's that. There's XRIT image, which does like I showed you before, which gets each LRIT file that has an image, like a segment of the satellite, and outputs as a JPEG. So you can see these programs are very small because there is already functions in the library that does, you pass the file name and then outputs the file directly. There is this parse, which let me show it is working. It shows the header of the file. Parse. Let me get a file here. Set helper app, alt. For example, this segment here. Okay, this segment's not what I expected. Let's get from here. Okay. So this is the header of the file, the headers of the file. So you have the primary header that says that's an image file, that the header has 4K, and the data has about 1 megabyte. That's it. No, 14 megabytes. This is I put hidden because it's a big record. There's an option to show. And here is the image structure. So it says that's 8-bit per pixel. It has 5,424 columns. It has 339 lines. And it's compressed using Gulum Rise. Which is a compression which took me a while to find out how to decompress, because NOAA was using a software that was done like in the 90s for decompressing that, and it was not license free. It didn't have any source code. You can use for decompressing. It was free for that. But it was for Windows, so it took me a while to make it work on Linux as well. Then here it's image navigation record. This is the thing I use for assemble the maps. So this is the says which projection is used. So it uses a geo projection at minus 75 of latitude. So it's geostationary satellite at minus 75 degrees in latitude. These two factors here says these 4 parameters here are parameters for a mathematical model that you put in a geo-projection, so you can get, you say which is the latitude and longitude and latitude for the pixel 100, 100, like the point on the screen. You get this pixel value, like the pixel coordinates, put in this algorithm, and it gets out the latitude and longitude. So that's I use for converting the to draw the maps and things like that, because the maps I have are shape files, which is also available as for free on the internet, and these shape files has just like polygons with latitudes and longitudes, so I just get and start drawing based on that. Then it's timestamp, which says when the image was taken. Here's the ancillary record, which is a text file which says where the image is. Here's the segment identification header. This, it's important because this is the segment 0. I only know that's the segment 0 because of that. Because that sequence value is 0. Okay? I need this data to reconstruct the whole image, because if you see here, I have 16 segments. I have 16 segments that assembles one image. Why they do that? They split that because if you get like a segment corrupted, you might even get, like for example, if this segment's bad, the other segments might rewrite, and maybe the info is not in the segment you want. That's bad. Maybe the info is another segment or anything like that. So they split in several files to avoid errors, and also this makes easier to transmit the files, because they can, like, they send you one segment and then you can send another data. What do you think? Can you get some data from USA spy sets? Have you seen some kind of USA signal? I haven't tried. It's hard to get the USA signal, a spy set signal, because it's very hard to know that's from my spy signal. Script SH, thanks for the follow. It's very hard, because how they usually know this is a spy satellite is that you point your dish to the sky and you are receiving a signal. And when you look in the database of public satellites, there is a database for that. There is the space track, I think. Not this one. I think it's this one. Okay. This site has all the registered public satellites. So if you are receiving a signal from a part of sky and there is no satellite there, it's probably a spy satellite, because spy satellites are not shown here. Yeah, no, right, exactly. E aí, XL Dog, de boas? Tonei, seja bem-vindo. So that's usually how you find a spy satellite, because if the satellite is not registered here, it's probably because there is a reason they don't want you to know that satellite is there. But there is an issue that's usually the spy satellite doesn't transmit over a territory that's not supposed to transmit. For example, if the United States wants to spy over São Paulo, for example, they will probably send the spy satellite to overwatch the São Paulo city. They can do two different stuff. They can relay this spy satellite that's over São Paulo can send the data to another spy satellite that's over the US, and then this spy satellite send to the US stations. Or if they don't want real time, they can record the images from here, then shift the satellite again to over the United States and then transmit the data there. So it's very unlikely that you'll get like a satellite, a spy satellite transmitting data over another country. You know, it's very risky. Conseguiu hacker? Yes, yes. It's downloading the data here. Let me get one image for you. Here. Here's one image. So that's the point. You know, it's very hard to find out a satellite is transmitting in your territory. They won't do that unless they really need that. Se algo similar ao redirecionamento de DNS VPS para bagunçar outra informação. Something like that. Something like that. They don't need to transmit over Brazil if the target the target person or company that needs to receive that information is on Brazil. For example, it can be anywhere in the world. I don't think the United States needs a spy satellite to spy on Brazil. There is better methods to do that. But for example, like in Middle Eastern or regions that has or Russia, for example, that they have problems with the United States. They have like this how can I say, this implicit flight. They will probably send the satellite over, take the pictures, and then they get the satellite back. Or they will send you another satellite, to send you another satellite, then to send to United States, because they don't want someone to know that they are spying on them. I think you know cool side stuff and space. I don't think I understood. But that's it, you know. If you get a spy satellite signal, you might be able to decode it, because not all military stuff is encrypted. But I mean, it's not likely that you'll get the signal. Of course, they had a better way to spy on Brazil, like select and need it as a president. Exactly. It's not very hard to spy on Brazil. It's really not hard, especially for a country like United States that has like cutting edge technologies to spy, you know. Also, just remember something. Facebook is United States, so I think most of the Brazilian most of the Brazilian people are on Facebook, so they can spy in better ways. They don't need to be that expensive with satellites and stuff. Satellites are just for war zones and things like that. Besides that, they have other ways to spy. WhatsApp, exactly. WhatsApp is also a nice way to spy. I think the biggest issue United States might have to spy on people today, and not only United States, China, Russia, everyone does spying. Some people do better than others, but I think even Brazil does that. You know, probably not very good, but they do. Is they handle the load of information, you know. How you separate which is interesting data for spying, which is garbage, you know. United States has most of the internet traffic passing through their land, so they can tap anything. But it's a lot of data, you know. That's the most hardest thing to do. It's selector traffic. But it's still cheaper than a satellite. You can be sure about that. You can just see how much the GUIs cost. I think it's worth something like 16 billion. $11 billion. So it's very expensive. Also, this is only the cost to get in orbit. There is also the maintenance cost, because this satellite, since it's a geostationary, you need a ground station to ensure that the satellite keeps their position in orbit, you know? So you have like an annual cost to keep the satellite in orbit. It's very expensive as well. Velho do Chus, valeu pelo follow. So, I mean, a spy satellite can be much expensive than that. Especially because usually spy satellites has a very complex navigation system. So they can be flexible and put the satellite anywhere in the world, which takes a lot of fuel, which takes a lot of effort and things like that. So you can say that like a spy satellite might cost like $50 billion or more than that. So they will not use a spy satellite unless they really need to. I don't think there is a lot of spy satellites over the Earth, you know. I think there is a very few ones. But it would be fun indeed to receive a spy satellite signal and the code. Daniel! Sejam todos bem-vindos! Heart Gang. So, welcome everyone! Good evening, I just arrived at the live. How do you receive the signal? Do you have an antenna? Yes, I have an antenna. Could an old pay TV antenna be used? Yes. This video will be available after this live stream. Yes, on the YouTube channel. Welcome all from Heart Gang. So, where is it? So, everyone that's reaching now, just showing, this is the satellite image we received today. Few hours back, I think. It's 30 hours. No, it's 30 minutes before. So, if you set up, so Velho do Chus, you can receive at home. I have for everyone is here. I have an article. It's in English. I will translate that to Portuguese sometime. Which is the GUI satellite hunt, which is everything. It explains everything about the satellite. Okay. So it even shows how to assemble the dish, satellite dish. Okay, this is a very cheap dish that you can find in Brazil, but for everyone that's outside Brazil, even Sky satellite dishes, and the normal satellite dish also works. This is the cheapest one you can find in Brazil, and also how to build everything. For everyone it's in Brazil, this is a Neston can. É uma lata de Neston. This has exactly the size for receiving GOIs. It's magic. And there's a lot of stuff here. It explains everything. I still need to update a bit. I will put the link there. So everyone that wants to run that, it's there. Yeah, that's also a good thing. It's also in my GitHub. So if you click here, you can go here. And my website, call it Let's Hack It. So it's here. Everything's here. So go satellite hunt. If you want to translate it, if you want to fix it, it's everything here. And for everyone, I am making this tutorial that's Sat for Noobs. That will be English and Portuguese, okay? So that's also English. That's basically for receiving satellites at home. So since this live is English, I will put here. This is the English link. This is the Portuguese. It's still work in progress, okay? There's a lot of stuff to do. This is the scope that's also on GitHub. It's on my GitHub as well. So Racer XDL, Sat for Noobs. Okay. It's also here. I still need to dedicate some time to receive, to make a very good, because this is intended to anyone be able to receive, anyone. You know, just read, follow the instructions, and you can receive at home. If you set up one dish randomly located within 15-kilometer radius from your location that's pointed at some kind of satellite, then you use a main dish to point at that dish. To transmit, can you find... if you transmit, yes, they can find you. It's very hard, but you can. If you transmit, it's always possible to locate you. If you only receive, it's very hard to locate you. Not impossible, but you can. So... Wesley, thanks for the follow. Paulo, PRP17, Barrigada, Lucifer Hippie, Ae Vitor, Disney GM, all thanks for the follows. What's the coolest things you can do with this information for newbies and more experienced guys? Can you give? Yes, of course. So let me show an image of the satellite, and I will just show. So you see this, okay? This is the temperature range of the image. This is the clouds and everything. This is not what the satellite sends. This is what the software generates. So even for newbies in the area, basically what you can see here is as it reaches the lowest temperatures, there is more chance that the water in the clouds will condensate. If they condensate, it rains. So as more close to the white here, this white, it's black, or more chance is to rain. So here you can see there is a black spot here, so probably here is raining. And if it's the light like here, like this white or something, it probably doesn't rain. So this is a very narrow thing. There is more complicated stuff related to that, but you could say, okay, there is coming some cold stuff from the south that will reach Brazil eventually, and maybe it will rain, at least it will get cold. Okay, there's a lot of stuff like that. Or you can get like, this is the visible channel. Okay. This is the red channel, so you can see it's almost dark, half of the Earth. And one funny fact, if you count the pixels from here to here, and from here to here, they are different. Because the Earth is not a perfect sphere. It's slightly flattened in the poles. So you can measure this difference in this image. Besides that, you can also learn how satellite transmits stuff. So this is fully open source, the software. The software is running right now. So I make this nice dashboard in the console, which looks cool. Of course, because it's flat, exactly. I actually did an image here. So this is the correct image. The Earth is flat. Okay, that's the real Earth. So here also there is a map. There is a bug as well. This is the round Earth generator thing getting messed up. But luckily my software fixes everything, so here is flat Earth. Yeah, exactly that project. That was my flat Earth generator. My first one. Now this software does that. There is also admin text. Let's see. So the GUI 16 reach and wing is broadcast utilizes virtual channels for the transmission of several simultaneous data streams. The table below identifies the current virtual channel assignments. So here is the channels. This is the same channels as here, you see? 0, 1, 2, 7, 8, 9, 13, 14. So 0, 1. So here you can say 0, admin text message. There is 3 packets received, which probably is this file. The one is meso scale, so there is a lot of packets. The 2 is visual of band 2. 2, 7, 8, 9, 13, 14, 15 is the satellite channels. 17 is from GUI 17, which is another satellite. 20, 21, 22 is from NWIM. 24, 25 is from NHC and other data. 30 is DCS admin. So this is the administration data from data collection system, which is the protocol I showed later. I showed previously. And 32 is the DCS data in a new format. New format, that's new for me. There is a problem if they track me. Yes, if you are not allowed to transmit, there is a problem. If you are allowed, then no. Is there any satellite that's open that we can play with sending and receiving? Yeah, there is. There is a satellite that's ham radio. You need a license, which is not hard to get. That's this satellite. That's also a Brazilian guy which does nice stuff. This is Roland. PI for ZBZ or Papa Yankee for Zulu. I forgot the B. Bravo, yeah. Bravo Zulu. Thank you. He's a Brazilian. He's a very nice guy, and he does a lot of stuff. This one you can. They have a nice coverage. So this is the coverage. It's over Africa, and you can get Brazil to Thailand. It's a geostationary, and when they launch it, they separate some links for communication. Okay. Yeah, sure. Here. You need a ham radio license, which you can get in Brazil or anywhere in the world. In Brazil, it's pretty easy to get. It's not hard. The test is really easy. You just need to study for a week or so. It's issued by Anatel, which the national regulation company for radio stuff, and they have these 2 channels. Pennywise 32, thanks for the follow. Disney GM, thanks for the follow. Flat, thanks for the follow. So they have the narrowband and the wideband. The narrowband is for voice and some data, which has 250 kilohertz. There is a lot of sub channels here, and there is the 8 megahertz channel, which is the wideband. This one is for video. You need to memorize that B is Bravo. Yes, you need. But you see, I didn't remember that B is Bravo. And I still got my ham license. So it's easy. So to send the data to the satellite, you use 2.4 gigahertz, which is Wi-Fi. So you can use Wi-Fi boosters as amplifiers, which is this one. I have one of this with 4 watts. It's not very expensive. You can see 160 reais. It's in Brazil. And the downlink is in 10 gigahertz, which is KU band, which not many people know, but this is the frequency of the Sky DirecTV and things like that transmit. So you can use a dish from these companies to receive this. So it's pretty easy to transmit, pretty easy to receive. So if you have a ham license, you can transmit through that. So for example, here is the narrowband. They have some allocations, though they have 2 beacons. One is a digital beacon, other is an analog beacon. So this part you can only transmit continuous wave signals. Here you can transmit narrowband digital modes. Here you can send digital modes. Here it's mixed mode. Mixed mode basically means you can transmit basically anything. And here is single sideband only. So this is the allocation of the narrowband. And then there is the... Where is the narrowband? Wideband use 400. I think here they have... Okay, this is the site. This is the wideband. They have this because this is the locations. So it's usually to send video, but you can send basically anything digital. And this is the channels allocations. This is the beacon. There is a rule that you cannot send a signal more powerful than the beacon here. So this website is for calibrating your transmission power. So you transmit to the satellite, you will see your signal here, and then you can say, okay, let me adjust to be below this beacon. So this is the reference of the signal. You can also receive this. This has a... This is a TV signal. And there is also the narrowband. The narrowband is funny because you can...
klein und schick und das habe ich dann eben auf
dem
Fensterbrett auch immer früher stehen gehabt. Allerdings ist das ein Riesenaufwand, da musst du dann erst
I think you are listening, right?
Dann drückst du da die Taste halt.
That's not on the satellite. This is a web SDR. So if you transmit in the narrowband, you receive it here. There is some other transmission. This is the beacon. This is the other beacon. Morse code for those who know. This is a satellite you can play with. This one, no. This is Morse code, but the other beacon is a digital signal. This one is a PSK signal. So this is SSB. Douglas Davis, thanks for the follow.
Ja, du hast wie gesagt nur ein Band abgearbeitet, aber mach das mal mit vielen Bändern, da wirst du verrückt. Das merkst du ja auch, wenn du Antennen hast, wo du mechanisch...
It's very hard to understand in this narrowband, but some ham radios told me that you get used with time, decoding the voices in a narrowband signal. But that's one satellite. This is amazing because it was a Qatar satellite that was intended for commercial operations, and then they decided to lend some of the linear transponders to ham use. I need a huge antenna to play satellites or something. Depends on what you want to do. For example, for the GUIS satellite, for receiving the signal I am receiving here, the dish is... let me see if... here. This is the dish I use. This has about, I think, 1 meter diameter. This is a very minimal that you need. Depending on the satellite you want, you can have a smaller dish. For example, for receiving the signal here, the narrow band, you can use like a sky dish, the 60 centimeters one. This one. I'm pretty sure everyone knows that. You can use this one to receive the narrowband signal. For receiving the wideband, you need a bigger dish, probably like 1 meter, 1.5 meters. That might be big, depending on where you are. For me, that's a small dish. You can send the link. The link for the sites, yes, of course. This is the wideband and this is the narrowband.
Träger hier. Wasserfall gesehen. Jetzt wissen wir doch, wer es war. Meine
There's someone laughing. That I understood. So These dishes are pretty common basically anywhere you are in the world. In Brazil they are as well. They are very cheap, especially the 60 centimeters one. Usually if you want to transmit to the satellite you need a bigger dish, like 90 centimeters to 1.2 meters, which is a bit harder to find. But they are pretty cheap in Brazil. Like here, 49 reais. For those are outside Brazil, 49 reais, it's about $8. 8, you know? That's how cheap the dishes are in Brazil. $8. You know? 49 reais it's cheap even for Brazil standards. Okay? Yeah, and most people have at home because that's pretty common. It's so cheap that when you cancel the leasing of the plan with Sky or anything, they left the antenna with you. They don't get the antenna back because it's too cheap. How much did you pay in a dish? My dish, this specific one, is from a company that is not selling yet. This is an experimental one. It's specifically for GUIs. I did a freelance work for them. But I have another one, which is the one that's on my website. Let me show here. This one, which... Here, it's this one. This one in Brazil is pretty common. It's a aluminum dish. It's 1.9 meters diameter. There is smaller ones, 1.5, 1.2. This one costed me about 200 reais, which is $40. How much is prime focus dish? Like 1.2. It's very hard to find 1.2 prime focus dish. Prime focus is very easy to find. This is 1.9 meters. That costs about 200 reais. This is pretty cheap as well in Brazil. You can find up to 2.5 meters of this. That costs about 350 reais. That's about $60. This is also pretty common to find in houses in Brazil because also they put this and forget about it. And what about LNB? You need to make one. Okay, I have for GUIs. There is how to make here. For the Kyo 100, this one, which I showed, this is easier. Okay. Even he said about the Avenger. That's the better LNBF that you can get, but this is standard in the market. Okay. Even if you get a cheaper one, you can receive maybe bad, but you can receive that. So that thing is also very cheap. So here you have one. 53 reais in Amazon Brazil. That's also $8. That's probably not a good one, but sometimes you find a good one. Yeah, sometimes the good ones cost like 100 reais, which is $20, which is also cheap. I'm my country a prime focus 500 euros. Wow, that's expensive. But that's a grid one, like the one I showed, or it's plain metal. Because the grid ones are cheap in Brazil, but the plain ones is very expensive. Because the grid, the aluminum grid is pretty cheap, but if you get like parabólica 1.9 meters, you can see here. Okay, there's some 1.5 meters closed dish, 200 reais, but there is also like here. I have one of these ones. That's 5,000 reais. That's almost $1,000. I have a 2.2 meters. This is 3.2. This is the one I want to use for GRB. It's there. I just need to fix it. Diego Garcia is is making the conversions, the exchange rates. But the dishes are pretty. Even the good ones are not that expensive. They are a bit more expensive now, but here, 285 reais. Lauro Liga, thanks for the follow. Some of them even comes with a lot of cable and things like that, you know. It's funny because that stuff for C-band and KU band, it's pretty cheap in Brazil. I think it's cheaper here than anywhere in the world. XL Doe, thanks for the sub. It's not a prime sub. It's a normal sub. Thank you. I think my bot said my bot is broken. It said 0 months subscription. I think I need to put 0 + 1. Okay. The bot working and the bot didn't crash now. I'm following you since when I had Facebook account on a PDA group. So for the time I will pay for it. So thank you. Thank you for all the content. I guess you had one of most interesting Brazilian tech channels. Please keep providing. Yeah, I will keep putting content on my channel. I wish I can put like with closed captions so it can reach both Brazilian public and international public. Você não respondeu minha pergunta ou eu não vi mesmo? Eu não sei se eu respondi sua pergunta aqui. O que você perguntou? So that's one thing I want to do. I want to translate to both languages here. Some of the website is translated to Portuguese and English because for all foreigners that's watching this live, it's very hard to find Portuguese content for that. I think I see that most of the foreigners are not in the United States. There's some guys from Argentina, Canada, and if you are from a country that English is not a native language, you'll probably suffer the same problem that we suffer in Brazil. There is not much content in the native language. And in Brazil especially, not everyone understands English. They should, but they don't, because English is very horrible in the schools. And someone who understands English is very privileged here. In São Paulo, it's not very common. I would say in São Paulo, a lot of people understands English. Not everyone can talk in English, but they understand that. But in Brazil, in general, English is not very widespread. Even though it's English is taught in the schools, it's a basically national curriculum. All schools should teach English here. But even so, the English is in some places is horrible, and it's almost the same as not learning anything. Most of people that I know that speaks English or understand English learn it with the internet, not in the schools. My computer came with a TV receiver. Can I do something with it? Not sure. I need to check which TV receiver is it. Practically no one learned English on schools. Yeah, not even me. I studied in nice schools, you know, and even that, I can safely say I didn't learn much in my English lessons. It's not because of the teachers, okay? If my teacher is watching this, it's not your fault. I think it's several factors, you know. It's not only it's several factors that impacts that. It's not only the teachers, okay? Because of the price, I'm currently constructing a foldable dish like an umbrella. Man, I want a foldable dish because sometimes I go to events in Brazil and I want to show the GUI is working like this, but it's not practical. I mean, even this dish, which is pretty small, it's like 20 kilograms. It's very hard to take, and it's very hard to disassemble and everything. So an umbrella dish, it would be really, really fun. This Communotron, let me check this. There's one I don't know. From Cabra Space Prawn. Cowboy Space Program is really nice. There is a meal spec. Meal spec foldable dish. Okay, it's not a dish. Satellite dish. Yeah. I need to go. See you soon. Thanks for the presents, man. Here, look at this. It's like an umbrella, and you can close it. That would be perfect for carrying around. Perfect. Even if it's like 10 kilograms, because I don't think this is light. This looks really heavy. That would be perfect, you know. But it's very hard it's very hard to find anywhere a dish like this. So I will send a blueprint if I success. Yeah, send me. Then I can reproduce here. Spaghetti mini. Yeah, that's a mini umbrella. That's basically that. But it's an umbrella. Basically, an umbrella is the same system, but instead of plastic, this is a conductive mail. So it's probably a bit heavier than umbrella. That's like one step fold. I need to make 2 to 3 spreads. Yeah, here. So you can make big diameter with small space. Yeah, yeah. That one would also be good. Man, it's my dream to have a dish like that, because that would be a lot easier to get in a event like Campus Party or I don't know, H2HC and things like that, and then just get the dish, assemble, and then say, here, I am receiving the GUIs. You know? Yeah, it's beautiful. Most of them are military. That's the only issue. There is this type as well. Let's see if the site has a better image. Okay, it doesn't have. But this is one type of dish. So the petals get over each one, and then when you want, it opens. It's not very efficient. Which more? This one is so cool. This is from a phone, satellite phone. Man, this one is amazing. Let me open the image and then you look how beautiful is that. This one is amazing. You know? And this is a satellite phone, you know? This is really a satellite phone. So you are able to close the dish and then just grab the antenna and a suitcase. Man, I would totally love to have one of these and then remove the phone, put like a Raspberry Pi and everything, and then just put the GUIS software running here. Then I can just get in the events and then open a suitcase and bang, it's everything working. This would be really cool, really cool. There are several models, you know, but most of the useful ones are like umbrella shaped, you know, because it's more efficient. Umbrella shaped usually keeps the dish straight. But it's expensive to do. Someday I will assemble a dish myself like this. So far I didn't have courage to that. Malandro, valeu pelo follow. So origami styled. I don't know this one. What kind of materials do it have to be to make this dish? It's more tools than materials. basically anything metallic works. Usually you want to use aluminum or something like that because it's light. Just imagine a 3-meter dish like this. Even aluminum just probably weighs like 30 to 40 kilograms. My dish, my Embrasat dish, let me get the picture here. Let me see if I can find the dish picture. Yeah, I cannot find this. I have it somewhere. Let me check in image her. I just need to open the image in another tab because depending on what appear, I can be banned from Twitch. So I need to be careful about that. Okay, I found a picture of the Embrasat one. This is the Embrasat one. This is an old picture, okay? Changed it a lot. You can see it's not... This is a panorama, so the dish looks broken. Marcus Brooklyn, thanks for the follow. This has 2.2 meters. This is a fiberglass dish. Okay. This one is like 65 kilograms. It's very heavy. So this is a fiberglass with metal powder inside the resin. It's a combination of... It's a special resin for dishes. It's very easy to assemble if you have the matrix, but it's very, very heavy. Not heavy. If that was a metal sheet, then it would be like 300 kilograms for sure. Fiberglass is it's lighter, but still very, very, very heavy. RainQB, K, PDA, antenna ground test deployment. Look at this. Let me check. RainQB. Ah, that's from satellite. Let's check that. That's the most hard thing to do in a satellite. How you fit like a 1 meter dish inside a CubeSat. That's 4 times the speed. That's slow. Gain on YouTube too. You mean increase the volume? I reduce it here, but there is no sound, useful sound, so I get very low here. Ah, now it's a slow motion. Okay, so now it's faster. Okay, it's really fast to open. I'm not sure. Ah, you want me to speed up? Man, that's beautiful. Someday I will reach this level. I think it's probably there is... Oh my god, someone filmed that in space? Oh my god, they filmed that on space, man. The start actually is faster. It's 4 times. The start is slow because if there is some rock or any residue here, if you open too fast, you might damage everything. So it's better to get slow and do less risky damage than anything else. So, and also the satellite can monitor if everything is going right. And probably this is a motor that's pushing out the dish, and here, which here this thing that slow it down is probably a spring. You know, this is probably a spring. That's why it's so fast. Isso é para ir pro espaço? Sim. That's for space. That's the satellite. This is very small CubeSat. That's actually here. This is the same antenna in space. There is a lot of CubeSat antenna deployments. There is several. How much does it cost to throw in space? No, what happened here? Ah, the antenna is inside. That depends on the size of your satellite. This size, this is one U CubeSat, which means 1 unit CubeSat. This is, I think, SpaceX launched them for like, I think, $5,000 or $10,000, maybe cheaper. Depends on size, but it's not very expensive. If you think so, even if you get $5,000 to reais, it's like 25,000 reais, which you probably will build that with a university or things like that. 25,000 reais, it's not very hard to get for a project like that. You will probably expend more in the satellite itself.
This is the cardboard CubeSat prototype. I released
satellite made of cardboard. This
cover.
Might be Brazilian.
The photo resistors will sense light. The antenna has released
all the way to another Arduino with an antenna, and it'll
normally 10 seconds is up. It'll
The receptor I have in the, let me check. Well, I don't know if you can do anything with that. I really don't know. Maybe with some
burn
hacks.
check to see.
That's impressive as well. So the antennas got like winded up, and then it just opens. That's really nice.
Okay.
You know what this looks like? You know the tapes that the metric tapes that comes wounded, and it's a metallic tape that's U-shaped. That looks a lot like this. I think they just painted over, which is nice because it's cheaper, right? Crazy engineering.
Hey everybody, technology crazy engineering. Exactly as a cube spacecraft, 10 by 10 by.
You see, man, this is amazing. It's very small, you see. But someday I will make a satellite. I don't know if I'm gonna launch it, but I will make a satellite project. But for now, I just keep receiving them. Let's see the images, what we receive at them more. A few more images here. That was the latest red, so South America is all dark now. United States is still a bit light. people. I think I will stop for here because I'm tired. I wish I could show more because there's a lot of more stuff here. I think it was a really good success. 60 people online. I will probably keep doing this on Sundays, my English live streams. So next Sunday I can keep talking about satellites and show the DSP stuff, the code, the assembly and stuff like that. There is one interesting satellite called Meme Sat. Let's see. Meme Sat. That's not a good name for a satellite. Okay, it's literally a memsat. Loni Ergi, thanks for the follow. So they are gonna launch a satellite with megabytes of memes. They are making a CubeSat to put memes in the space. That's what they are doing. Eles estão fazendo um satélite para colocar memes no espaço. Okay, that's a nice idea. Where is the funding? That's the Hue. That's the real Hue. First ever meme satellite. Maybe has no limits, exactly. Let's go to space here. Let me get this link. How much they reached already? Okay, they need 30,000. They reached 2,300. Well, I will donate to them. Let me save it here. I will make some, because it's a nice cause. Memes need to go to space. But actually, I think everything is open source, so it's a nice knowledge for that. You know? And it will be recommendable by anyone with a radio license. Nice. Donate a meme or satellite. Let's see. And that's the thing. I mean, it might be, if you might think it's stupid to put memes in space, which might be stupid, but everything that you need to put memes in the space, it's a lot of things. And that means if you can put memes in the space, you can put anything in space. You mean? So they will send an FM repeater, so which we'll be able to receive. And if you are a licensed amateur radio, you can uplink a voice message, sound file to the satellite, and we will broadcast for everyone. So we can literally send Hue to everyone. That's a satellite I want to see it working. Because then I would just say Hue and send to everyone in the world. That's a nice project. Thanks for sharing that, because it's really fun. That's something I will do. Now we have a Hello World set. Exactly. That's literally Hello World. The satellite will look into the world and say hello. That's probably the finest Hello World we ever reach. You know? Okay. Now I will receive the first image. Hello world, exactly. But this is really nice. But you see here, the donation process, they need like $30,000. If you think so, that's not much. You know, okay, it's 120,000 reais, but still, that's a satellite launched in the low atmosphere, low Earth orbit. So it's pretty cheap for what you are doing. Lucas Tesk, dá uma dica aí pra eu aprender inglês, mano. Tô focando muito, mas preciso melhorar. Cara, minha sugestão, tenta assistir filme e série em inglês. Pode ser com legenda, mas tenta associar. E faz o teste, fica tentando assistir sem legenda. E leia coisas na internet, cara. E eu acho que o principal, não tem receio de falar inglês, tá? Tá com o celular em PC em inglês. Isso também. Mas tenta conversar em inglês, cara. Escrever em inglês, falar com gringo e depois tenta conversação mesmo. Não tenha vergonha, cara. I think for everyone that's not in Brazil, I think everyone can say that even if you are bad in talking in English, a native speaker can understand you. I think the non-Brazilian people and the live stream can confirm that for me. I mean, you don't need to speak perfect English for everyone to understand you. So don't be afraid to talk in English. I know it's very hard, but my English is a shit. Yeah, but if you never talk in English, you will keep like that. And just remember, most people in the world only knows how to speak one language that's the native language. So if you speak bad English, you are still speaking two languages. So it's better than nothing, you know? Yeah, exactly. Actually, your written English is okay. I haven't found any bad stuff there. Usually Brazilian people can write English really good. They just don't talk English because they are shy. That's usually the case. Okay, let's find someone to make a raid. Today the raid might be different because there are some English speakers here. Let's see if anyone from my team is online. I don't think so. My channel, let's see. I don't think anyone is online now. Just me. It's sad. I can never make a raid for anyone because no one's online when I finish. I get all the raids. My regulars know. It's very common to find I receive like 2 or 3 raids inside my live streams. Let's see. Search science and technology. Okay, let's see in English. See who has. There's a UHC, Ultimate Hacker Championship. But they have a lot of viewers already. Less spectators. Let's see who has less people. Tokyo Live Camera. What the hell? I'm shy. Yeah, most of people are. I was shy as well. I'm still learning English. My dream is to travel the world and be the best programmer. My name will be remembered as Otávio Souza. Yeah, that's it. Don't let the shyness shine. I'm pretty sure that's wrong. Don't let this this block you. He's watching the I've no. I'm not sure.
Ali do Mago, Gaiatoland morreu pra Fierce. Agora é Fierce e Mago, hein? É a decisão do campeonato de bot de
Okay.
AI. Olha só o Mago fazendo seu dano na
He's a game
cortina.
dev and everything is English,
O Mago é
but I
campeão!
think he will get all the English, and he's doing, I think, a nice thing. So let's Shinies is right? I'm not sure. Yeah, championship. Yeah, that looks fun. So let's send the hide for him.
Ficou legal, hein? Vou rodar mais um aqui, ó. Partida.
So for everyone that's here, when you reach there, just
Ainda vou
say
melhorar.
hard gank.
Agora vai começar a partida
And
de novo, hein?
Really thanks for everyone that showed up today. It was really fun. It was a lot of people, so I will keep doing the live streams in English in Sundays. So Sunday will be English, the lives. I will check what I can say. But thank you for everyone, and let's see you next Sunday, or during the week you can show it in my live streams. I am the son and the hair of a shyness. That's criminally vulgar. I am the So, see you in the next Sunday, and thank you everyone for watching this live stream.
Gaiatoland tá levando pacotada de todo mundo. Foi pra cima do Renan. Renan tá perseguindo o Francisco. Valdeir matou. Atem matou o Valdeir. Uma treta ali. Fierce matou. Electrical Longboard. Olha só. Gaiatoland matou Renan. Olha o Dida camperando. Fora do círculo, hein? Eu preciso fazer isso urgente pra pegar. Ó, o Francisco vai chegar perto do Fierce. Passou direto, não aconteceu nada. Gaiatoland tá ali. Mataram o Dida, hein? Mataram o Dida. Opa! Valeu pelo... Valeu pelo follow. Olha só, tomou o Coroatem e matou. Francisco matou a Tem. Agora é Francisco e Fierce. Francisco e Fierce na decisão. Fala, Loniers. Valeu. Olha, o Francisco é campeão. O Francisco é campeão. Soltar a música da vitória aqui. É campeão. Ficou, agora eu vou implementar. É o gank do Lucas Task. Ô Lucas, obrigado pelo gank. Beleza. É a música do Titanic da vitória. Beleza, sejam bem-vindos aí ao canal. Eu preciso ajustar bastante coisa no canal. Para vocês que estão chegando agora, o que a gente fez foi um sisteminha na Unity, um jogo na Unity, que ele pega qualquer streamer, canal de streamer, lista os viewers que estão na stream, no stream do viewer, e aí ele spawna AIs que tem comportamentos próprios e tal, para disputar uma batalha de Battle Royale. Great idea, Diego Garcia. E já explico em inglês também. Então aqui, por exemplo, ó, all these people here. So what is gonna happen is that you're gonna have a representation in the map. So if I start the game, and then we have I like the marbles on the stream. All right, thanks. So you're gonna have a representation based on an AI here.